he turns to me and he's like, "You're not gay, are you?" Right? Now, I'm like, I said no, right? Like, because like that's because I'm not, right? So I say no, obviously, right? And I'm like, no. But the thing is, my friend had taken us to Katz's Deli earlier that day, and my friend had he bought us shirts, right? And he bought my one friend a yellow one because he got to choose first. And then I was stuck with then choosing the next shirt. Now, I wasn't going to choose the same one as my friend, so all I had to do is choose the other one, which was like a pink shirt, right? So he's like, and I'm wearing it at the time, and he's like, "You're not gay, are you?" I'm like, "No." But then on the back of this pink shirt says, "Send a salami to your boy in the army." You know what I mean? So I'm like, no. Just don't read the back of my fucking shirt, buddy, right? Then he's like, "Don't ever go to Boston." I'm like, "Why don't ever go to Boston?" He's like, "I stayed in a hotel and I was shot in the face." I'm like, "You were shot in the face at a hotel in Boston?" He's like, "Yeah. Do you want to feel the bullet hole?" I'm like, "No." And as I was saying no, he grabbed my hand and put it to where maybe a bullet might have been. I have no idea. I've never felt one, but it just felt like a little dent in his skull, right? And then he's like, "They kidnapped me." And I'm like, "Who are they, the gays?" He's like, "No, this time the government," right? I'm like, "Okay, cool, yeah, the government." He's like, "They took me to an underground hospital in Boston. And you know what they did to me there?" I'm like, "What did they do to you there?" Right? And I'm terrified now, because this is an overnight bus ride. Everyone else is sleeping, and this guy's going on about the gays and the government to me, right? How they have done him wrong, right? So he's like, "I'm in an underground hospital, and you know what they did to me there, the American government?" I'm like, "What did they do?" He's like, "The American government, they're not allowed to kill their citizens. The American government are not allowed to mutilate their citizens. And the American government are not allowed to torture their citizens. Do you know what they did to me down there?" I'm like, "What did they do?" And he's like, "They mutilated my genitals." Now at that point I went, "Oh, thank God I'm not going to be raped on this bus," right? So I can cross that off the fear part of my list, right? So as we continue on, he switches gears and he's like, "Do you like Crosby, Stills, and Nash?" And I'm like, "And Young?" And he's like, "No, fuck Neil Young. I fucking hate Canadians." And I'm like, "Alright, cool." And he's like, "You're not Canadian, are you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm going to Rochester. They call me Mr. Garbage Plate there." Right? And the guy's like, "Okay, cool." Right? So he bought the story hook, line, and sinker, guys. Right? And while this was going on, he then decides to figure out where he bought a record player back in 1985. Where he used to play Crosby, Stills, and Nash on, right? And he's like, "Hang on a second, I gotta talk to some people." So he pulls out 5 cell phones, right? He has 5 cell phones, so the government or the gays can't find him, I guess, right? So he's on the phones, and then this German couple in front of me go, "Hey," I can't do a German accent, so it's just gonna be, "Hey, ja, da," right? "Da, da, da, das. Can you tell your friend to please be quiet?" And I'm like, he is not my fucking friend. But I have to keep it down, because I want him to think that we're still on good terms, right? But I'm like, he's not my fucking friend, all right? And while this was going on, some guy decided to go to the bathroom, right? He's in the bathroom. Now the thing about going in a bathroom in a Greyhound, they have those signs that say, "Please sit down," right? They always say, "Please sit down," which is totally emasculating to any dude. Now, there's a guy who went to the bathroom and he's pissing in there. I assume because of what follows next. We pull into like Rochester and we're going to this Burger King, and the bus driver's like riding the brake a little too hard, right? So you're kind of bopping back and forth. Now the guy, I guess, is pissing, right? He's going like this. He's like, whoop, whoop, and kind of losing his balance. And I don't know how the fuck he did it, but he opened the door and fell out backwards, pissing all over the place. Pants around his knees. I'm crying, laughing so hard. 1, because the guy is pissing all over the place. And 2, what guy goes to the fucking bathroom to piss and pulls his pants down? Nobody. They're like, "Hey, this is my first time peeing standing up. Pants all the way down. Whoa!" Right? So like, and these girls are freaking out. They're like, "Oh my right, as this guy's pissing all over the place, and the guy's like, won't somebody help me up? And I'm like, nobody's gonna fucking help you up, you're covered in piss! Right? Then, my friend who happens to be on the bus at the same time, this lady comes back and she's like, excuse me, I can't sleep up in the front. Do you mind if I get a seat back here? Are there any open seats? No, which is crazy. This is actually another story altogether, because the lady comes back and I have my own seat at this time, this one, and she comes back and she's like, is there any open seats? Now there's an open seat next to me and an open seat next to my friend. Now I go, yeah, there's an open seat. There's one here and next to my friend. Now I look crazy, right? My friend does not. So who does she go to choose to sit next to but my friend? What's going on, man? Hey, what's going on, Andrew? Andrew from Ken Mode, everyone! Yeah! Oh, he's checking a text. Guys, he's checking a text. So anyway, the lady then sits down next to my friend, and I'm pissing laughing so hard again, because she sat next to my friend, and he's now stuck with another person, so he can't put his feet up or anything. And I'm laughing so hard, I'm crying. And then she looks over at me and she's like, people are insane on this bus, right? And then walks back up to the front to fall back asleep, right? And then we get off the bus, and I'm standing there, and I decide to do an impression of the dude who fell over pissing. And I go to my friend, I'm like, who am I? And I'm like, whoa, right? And then I look over, and the dude was watching me, and he's like, ah. Like when he looked down though, but I thought he was kind of depressed, but he was like, there's piss all over my pants. Guys, check it out. Okay, you're gonna love this. Okay, so I'm gonna get into a joke right now before I take